Welcome back. Okay, so some news of the day for all you fine people for your Friday as we get towards the end of January, getting closer to February and all that fun stuff. It's going to be a battle of the Spencers tonight in Vancouver. It would appear that Spencer Martin will be starting for the Vancouver Canucks tonight with Demko and Halak both on the protocol list. Here we go. Now, with Spencer Martin, we'll see how things go. And honestly, we've seen some goaltenders come in this year, play really, really well in games where we're like, who's that guy? Well, he's still playing, that kind of thing. So we'll see how he goes against Spencer Knight. So it's Spencer versus Spencer in Vancouver. I think that's kind of fun. I would wager a guess that maybe there's never been a battle between two goaltenders named Spencer, but here we are. I do wish Martin all the best. I've seen him play here in Abbotsford. We'll see how it goes tonight against Florida, a team that's scoring a lot of goals. So maybe throwing a goaltender in there that a team's not familiar with. If it was Tampa, I might be a little more concerned because Spencer Martin played in the Tampa organization, but either way, fingers crossed on this one. Not a lot of optimism that the Canucks necessarily win it, but hey, the effort should be there and it should be a fun game. Bad news for the Bruins. Marchand and Bleed are both going to be out for tomorrow's game. There's been no update on how long Brad Marchand's going to be out. I don't think it's going to be that long. He did sit on the bench with an ice pack on his shoulder last night for the game the other night, and so I don't think it's going to be that long. But I know the Bruins weren't happy with the play that led to Marchand getting hurt against the Caps. I believe that was Hathaway, right? The Wilson hit that took out Bleed, that was a clean hit. I didn't hear a lot of complaining about that after the game. But the Bruins not very happy with the other. So hopefully, the Bruins can overcome that and those losses. But it's not the first time they'll have played without Marchand this year. Jake Allen for the Montreal Canadiens is out 8 weeks with an upper body injury. So that's a long time for them to go without Allen. And of course, Carey Price restarting his rehab of his knee. It's overall, it's one of those years for Montreal. It has been one of those years for Montreal right from the beginning, and it continues. So we'll see how long Allen is out, if it is the full 8 weeks, what kind of shape he's in when he does come back to action. But so 8 weeks out for Allen is a while, and it may change what they do at the trade deadline as well with him being out that long, right? But it does give Montembeault a chance to play a lot and continue to prove that he can be a National Hockey League goaltender, which I'm fine with. Dave Tippett. So it's interesting looking at the Twitter machine today, and yes, Twitter's a cult. Letterkenny gets that right, but a lot of calls for Dave Tippett to be fired, of course. And it feels familiar to me as a Canuck fan that watching what happened with Travis Green, it feels the same with Tippett, where, they're waiting for the next game. They're not sure yet. They're waiting. And fans in Vancouver asked, as Oilers fans are asking now, what are they waiting for? Currently, the Oilers sit 6 points behind San Jose. They have 5 games in hand. So that's winnable. But they're also 4 points behind Calgary, and they've played one more game. And there's other teams between themselves and a playoff spot right now. And with the way they've been playing since that 16-5 start, nothing can be taken for granted. So for Oiler fans, they're watching what was a great start to the year, getting frittered away. Now the team's below the playoff line. Things still aren't happening. Still nothing going on. And I can imagine that would be very frustrating to watch, which has also led to... I saw a poll today about who was the worst Oilers GM between Chiarelli and Holland. Last time I looked, Ken Holland was getting more votes than Peter Chiarelli. What? So that's the land we live in now, where now Ken Holland, among Oiler fans, is considered to be the worst of the two GMs. I will disagree with that, but I'm also going to say that Holland's moves in the offseason really haven't had the effect on the team that he had intended. And things are just going really, really badly right now for the Oilers, and I'm not sure how you fix it. I do know that if they have a bad game against Calgary, that would be, you would think, the final straw, because then they'd be 6 points back at Calgary, having played one more game, maybe 5 points if they lose an overtime or a shootout. But if it's a lopsided regular good old-fashioned 60-minute loss, does something happen then? And so for the Oilers, it feels like they are the tire fire now. It was Vancouver, it's been Ottawa, it's been Montreal, now it's Edmonton. So just moves around from one Canadian team to another. Interesting news on Marc-Andre Fleury. Darren Dreger's reporting that Fleury won't be moved at the deadline unless he asks. And when he was asked recently, he basically said, look, I'm going out and trying to win games for the Chicago Blackhawks, so that's my focus right now. And he doesn't want to discuss potential trades or anything like that. I do think Fleury's probably in his last year, but there will be teams that make those calls to Chicago. And so it'll be up to him as to whether or not he gets moved, right? So, does he request the move? Does he not? If you're wondering about Edmonton, financially it just doesn't work. It does not work. But with Koskinen's game last night, you have to think that Skinner's going to have a chance once Smith's healthy and back. Koskinen's probably number 3. And whether that's fair or it's not fair, that is likely how things are going to go. But again, it still seems to be the same thing where wait for improvement from within. Whereas with Chicago, honestly, they've had a better record than the Oilers for the last, 6 weeks? So that's the world we're in now. Joel Farabee, who has been arguably one of the best members of the Philadelphia Flyers this year in what's been a miserable season, he's going to miss the next 4 weeks with an upper body injury. And it comes along at the worst possible time for Philly, who have just absolutely nosedived out of the playoffs. This is the second time they've had a 10-game winless streak this season. So we have half a season left. They've already had 2 streaks of 10 straight where they don't get the win. So it's been a rough time. They got rid of Elanvino. They seem to bounce back a little bit after that, but then they get right back into the same bad habits and all of that. So we'll see what the answer is for Philly. And that really becomes the question here. What is the answer for Philadelphia? What will make this team better? What will finally get them out of this muck and mire that they find themselves in right now? I'm not sure that I know the answer to that. I do think that one thing that's been good is Carter Hart. So I think the one thing that they're not going to complain too much about this year is their goaltending. Overall, I think the goaltending's been good. Everything else, it's up for debate. Corey Perry tonight will be making his first visit to Anaheim as a member of a team that's not the Anaheim Ducks. He will do that with Tampa. So with Dallas, he was suspended for that return game. With Montreal, of course, last season we had the separation of the divisions, so Montreal never played Anaheim last year. And so tonight's his first game back in Anaheim. I'm sure they'll have a nice big ceremony for him. And I'm pretty sure Corey Perry's number gets retired by the Ducks once he's done. I would say that Perry and Getzlaf are both just absolute no-brainers. Their numbers get retired by the Anaheim Ducks when their careers are finished. But for Perry, he's having a very good year. It started off slow for him, but it's really picked up in recent weeks / over the last 6 weeks. And so, yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he gets a goal against his former team tonight in Anaheim. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.